The bell's already been rung, and they've heard it. But in the dark, among the stars, they know that God is dead.
Yeah. So now let me change from a lyric to spit. Just like we didn't change SNYDER's vision to shit. This man has no clue about DC Comics. And man, what the hell was the Superman clip? I can't even watch it. It's such a disgrace. I really wish Shoes would punch shots in the face.
What up, everybody? Welcome to SNYDER Ave. What is going on? I am so happy to be here right now. You have no idea. I've had a rough couple of days. Let me get into the chat over here too. What's up, Dr. Fate? What's going on? As you guys know, I wanted to do this second half of the stream. First Wednesday night, then Thursday night. Wednesday night, I had some shit going on, but then Thursday, a couple hours before I was about to go on, all of a sudden, a fault line happened in the earth in my mouth, and my fucking world shook, and something kind of like popped in there in a bit, because I have a couple impacted wisdom teeth that have been slowly breaking their way out. That I never got pulled when I was young, unfortunately. And, something was pushing against the other, and it caused an abscess to blow up. And I was messed up, couldn't really talk. Side of my face was all swelled up. This side, actually, it was all swelled up. And finally, it was gradually getting better. And finally, this morning, I woke up and it was just like there's a bunch of nasty tasting shit in my mouth, but I felt way better, and my face was unswollen, and I was able to talk again and stuff. So, I got here. What's up, Arkham Gaming? Today was 24th birthday, and I was able to get Kevin Conroy on Twitter to say happy birthday to me. Holy fucking shit, man. That's fucking awesome. Yeah, fucking congratulations, brother. That's fucking great. I would take a snapshot of that and save that shit forever, bro. I'd get that shit framed. That's Kevin Conroy, man. That's one of the fucking truest Batmen we ever had, even though Ben Affleck's my favorite now, but what he did with the animated series and all the animated movies he's been in, whatever, he's fucking incredible. You know what I mean? Even his little cameo in Crisis, on CW is fucking incredible. I love the man. So we're finally doing this tonight. And not only that, the whole reason I had to start late tonight, I apologize, because I know this was supposed to start at 10:35, not 11:35. I spent the whole day, because of the last time, right? Like last time, when I was streaming to you guys, just like with Austin's show, and then, if you guys watched the performance I did on Nicotina's after the performance on Austin's, the performance on Nicotina's was way better, sounded way better. I was on time with the music and everything, because I kind of learned the hard way with Austin's show that you can't, like on Austin's show, and that's why I recorded another performance for Austin's show, and it's up on my channel because they haven't got a chance to edit it into their actual show yet and take the old one out. But if you watch that show, number one, I was a second late from all my music because we shared the music in a separate screen from my microphone, and my screen was the way we figured out to do it at the time. And when we were streaming, we couldn't hear the delay, but you guys got a delay on the other end that we didn't know about till the stream was over, and we went back and watched it. Oh, excuse me. And basically, I'm a second behind my own music the whole time, and it sounded like shit. But not only that, the sound quality was a little messy too. And same thing last week when I did the first part of the listen party with my old album. Everything sounded great to me when I was sharing the YouTube screen with you guys during the stream. And then when I went back and listened to it afterward, I realized the sound wasn't that great. It sounded really far away and stuff. And I came to realize it was because the screen share was coming through in mono, and my songs are all mixed in stereo. So I went back today and spent a lot of the day putting all the mixes in mono and exporting them. Then I uploaded them all to YouTube. I made them all videos with the album cover and shit. Uploaded them all to YouTube and mono and all. And then after I went through hours of doing all that, all of a sudden it clicked in my head that wait a minute. I thought about my intro, what was just playing a minute ago, and how I made that and put some of my songs, the music to it, and it's in stereo and it sounds great. And then I thought to myself, why don't I just share all the original videos from my computer into StreamYard, into the actual, because you can have video clips up to 10 minutes and none of the songs are that long. So that's what I did. So now you guys are in for a treat because I'm gonna actually be like screen sharing a StreamYard videos instead of having to screen share YouTube. And they're all in stereo, and the sound should be phenomenal for you guys compared to the last one. So sorry about that on the last one, but and yeah, and just to give a little pretext before we get into the album, I wanted to do some of the unreleased tracks from the old album that I missed last week, but I didn't really have time to upload them all. That was the only problem. But I got the whole everything from the new album is what we're about to go through. What's up, Paul Life? Or Paul Smith? Paul Life. Yeah. What's up, Paul Smith? What's going on, man? Um, so so yeah, so this album, just to give a little pretext, especially if you guys watched the first stream, like I said, that album was back in 2010, basically. I made it between the years of like 2006 and 2010, honestly, with songs getting switched back and like before it actually got pressed. Because back then, as I said the other night, it was a big deal to press a CD. You know what I mean? It wasn't like now where you can just pay DistroKid $50 for the year. Because I pay for the label cost. It costs more. A lot of people can just pay 20 if they're just one artist. And you can just put your shit out digitally. It wasn't like that back then. Back then you had to spend like $1,000 to $1,500 just to get 100 physical CDs made with covers and barcodes that you could take and do consignment deals with like local record stores and stuff, so it took a lot for me to make the final commitment on like what the song list was going to be and everything to press the CD. So it was a process in the making. Now with this new album, and that was the point. Back then, I was younger. I was still a lot more in my neighborhood and in my old neighborhood and stuff. And it was a lot more about the streets than this album. Whereas this album, I'm older. I've been a parent for a while. I just went through like a divorce basically, and had my family split up, and like it's a lot more personal inner journey into me, as opposed to where the first album was more about my surroundings. You know what I mean? So just to let you guys know, I mean, there are still a couple songs about my neighborhood and stuff because, it's just part of who I am and shit. You know what I mean? And I do a lot more like singing on this album and stuff. And I even play guitar on one song. And because musically I evolved too, and I mean, even when you listen to the first album, I always kind of on my hooks and stuff. A lot of times I tap into like that rock singing kind of like, I think it's just the white boy in me naturally coming through, you know what I mean? Like, regardless of whether I grew up in the hood or whatever, like I've always been very musically, had broad horizons, and that comes from my dad. Like my mom, like I didn't really know my mom till I was older. Like she left when I was a baby. I got into all that on the last stream too. Like my dad pretty much raised me by myself till I was like 6, 7 years old, and by himself, I mean. And like my mom was the artistic one, like my natural artistic, because I used to draw too. Like if you look on my Twitter, I've posted some of my drawings and stuff. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to be like Jim Lee, basically. Like I always had these dreams that I'd go to some art college, and then I ended up doing 3 years in juvie instead and then graduating in juvie. But whatever, it is what it is now. It's water under the bridge years ago. But whatchamacallit, what was the point? I'm losing myself a little bit here. Sorry. It's about art school. Oh yeah, so the artistic ability came from my mother, my blood mother, and but my love of music and listening to different musics came from my dad. Because like my dad, he's only 18 years older than me. Like he had me when he was young too, and growing up as a little kid, like he's always evolved with times. Like when I was born, it was the I was born in the late 70s, and he was like like from what I've seen in pictures and stuff, like him and my mom were like typical like Aerosmith, Black Sabbath, stuff like that. But then when I was a little kid in the 80s, like he was like all into punk and new wave and shit like that. And then as I got older, he got into like real hardcore, like DRI, MDC, Dead Kennedy, stuff like that. And then he was the one that got me into Slipknot, and Slipknot's like in my top 5 favorite groups across any genre. Like they're musical geniuses in my opinion. Like, and Joey Jordison, RIP, to me was like the Neil Peart of this generation. Like he's the most incredible drummer. And I love the DJ Sid. Like to me, I hear hip hop and everything, but I listen to basically hold on, something's wrong with my computer here. Sorry. No big deal. But But I listen to like a lot. I really don't listen to country, and I'm not too big on like acoustic guitar stuff unless it's in like an emo punkish kind of way or something, if that makes sense. Like I like Dashboard and shit like that back in the day, Get Up Kids. Um, but I really don't like folky South acoustic guitar or any like type of stuff like that. I mean, it's just who I am as a person. But I love like hard metal shit. I was a big new metal head back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I think Limp Bizkit doesn't get nearly enough credit for how much they changed the face of music and how many bands have been influenced by them since then that probably won't admit it. But when $3 Bill came out, like there was nothing that sounded like that at the time, you know. And same with Slipknot and a lot of bands that came out of that time. Um, like to me, it was like when I was real young, I was real big into like House of Pain and Cypress Hill, Ice Cube, like the whole Soul Assassins clique, and like it was like the white boy beat makers like DJ Muggs and Cypress and DJ Lethal at House of Pain, and then DJ Lethal ended up being Limp Bizkit's DJ, and I always felt like Limp Bizkit, Corn, all that shit, like it was very like it was almost like they took what they did back with the beats back in the early '90s and like transferred it over into guitar sounds and shit, kind of, you know, like they all had that like, you know what I mean, like the way Cypress and House of Pain and all did, and that's why I really loved like Horn and Limp Bizkit and all that shit at the time. That was a big part. And like now, even like I love synthwave right now, like the whole '80s resurgence sound and like electro pop and all that stuff. Because you know, I also love it too because they're making musical forms with the same instruments I use to make hip hop, but they're using it to make a different genre. But we're all using the same digital instruments and stuff, which is pretty cool to me, and I respect it. And you know, like I'm one of the people that when I listen to someone else's music, someone else's album that I love, like most people listen to a music and they get a vibe or you know they picture a moment in their head or something like that. But me, I pictured a studio in my mind. I can't give enough props to the show Wu-Tang and American Saga that's going on Hulu right now because like they do such a good it's such a real show. I mean, I recommend it to everybody. If you ever like Wu-Tang or if you're into seeing an amazing story, a true story of how a group came together and shit, it's nothing short of amazing how RZA pulled them 9 dudes together. And that's what the show is. It's in the middle of season 2 right now and all through season 1 and now through season 2, that's what it's been about. Was RZA and his brother deciding to like go independent, start the company, and become 36 Chambers and Wu Tang, and him talking to 8 friends who a lot of them didn't like each other at the time, all into like dropping all their bullshit and beef, and that he made them sign contracts promising not to sell crack or anything. Like they all had to devote 5 years to the plan, basically, and it's just fucking amazing. But they have several scenes where like RZA is making a beat or something and he like pictures he's listening to the samples as he's making the beat and he like pictures the musicians in the room like he's having a conversation with them like I need you to drop this and like shit like that, but as he's actually doing it on the keyboard. And that's exactly, it was such a good, I thought, look inside an artist's mind because it's exactly how I listen to music, like whether it be Slipknot or Gunship or Churches or fucking Lil Peep or you know what I mean, Logic, like whatever, NF, you know, no matter what type of genre it is, what type of music it is, I'm picturing the studio as I listen to the song. I'm hearing the complexity that went into making it and shit like that. You know what I mean? And it's just the way I'm wired. You know what I mean? It's just the way I'm built. And like it's just I always just, you know, like I said, I got it from my dad. Like I was raised by my dad pretty much, and like he very much taught me like not to get stuck in my time and to keep evolving with music. You know what I mean? And even with hip hop, like so many people my age and even MCs that I came up rapping with and stuff that still rap, that like they're so against all the new shit. You know what I mean? And I get it. Like some of the new shit's horrible. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna call out their names, but some of it's horrible. But some of it's also great. You know, like Lil Peep, Extension, all that shit, like what them dudes were doing, like it's a shame they all fucking died because like they were fucking musical geniuses to me. Like Lil Peep, Extension, all of them, like that whole emo rap thing that came in, like they took hip hop and did a completely new fucking thing with it. And it was crazy, I thought. Like I love Lil Peep shit. I really do. He's my favorite out of the bunch, you know what I mean? But oh yo, what's up? What's going on, True? What's up, man? I was just giving a little preface to the album before I got into it. But yeah, so again, like, um there's a lot of different influences on the beats too. All the beats are mine except for the one song "Kids," which is towards the end of the album. That's my boy Resident Entertainment, who's an amazing producer, pretty big time producer too. And that's why I worked with him and stuff. And I'll probably be working with him in the future on other songs and stuff too. What up, Integrity 101? What's going on, man? Um, and Yeah, so it's a lot different twist on the beats this time around because a lot more music has influenced me since the last album, and it's also a way more personal journey inside of me too. And I purposely have the songs listed in this playlist in StreamYard in the order that I kind of created them in, because like I said, it's been a process over like the last 2 years. These albums have come together, and my ex plays into a few of the songs too. Who's my baby's mom of my 5-year-old kid, and there's a long story behind her, but like we're completely broken up now. We broke up 2 years ago, but this album was getting created through that happening. So there's a few different songs that she's mentioned in or about her that like happen at different points of that. So that's why I'm playing it in order. You know what I mean? They'll be spread out throughout the album, but because I'm the kind of person that like I can't write a song if it's not something real to me. If it's not something I either have seen going on around me that's affected people close to me, things like that, or if it's something directly going on and driving me nuts in my own head. And I kind of use the paper as a therapist sometimes. Not to like copy NF or anything, but it's good. It's that I always thought that was smart how he did that, play with that, because it's the truth. When you're an MC, a lot of times the notebook and the pen are the therapist. So that's pretty much what this album is. That's why it's called Alternate Earth. Also, not to mention the fact that I love comic books and shit, obviously. But and I'm sure that played into inspiring even using Alternate Earth in the first place. But where it's really rooted at is the fact that like in the past 2 years while this album was being created, I went from being a dad with a 3-bedroom house. Like I had 2 older kids from my previous relationship, but me and my recent ex that I had a 5-year-old with had custody of them. Like I had, and so we were like a family. We had a 3-bedroom house out in the suburbs right outside of my old neighborhood in Southwest Philly. And, it was like I pretty much had settled in. That's why there was such a big gap between the Ill Life albums too, because, there's a lot of people around me that were kind of like pressuring me, like, like you got to give the Ill Life thing up and just worry about your job and shit. And like, I don't know, like it's just a lot was going on in life, and I had another kid, and I had to take custody of my other 2 kids because of other problems going on in their other half of their life and stuff that I don't want to really make public or anything. It's not my place to. But it was just a lot of crazy shit that I really got wrapped up in my blue collar life and just having to provide that. Like I kind of didn't have time for Ill Life for a while, and it took me a while to build it back up and stuff like that. So, but yeah, this story will evolve as we listen to the album. So let's just get in here and get started with it. So how it's going to work is, like I said, because I put the videos directly into StreamYard, like my screen will completely go out now while the songs are playing. So, I'll be muted, I won't be there, and then I'll pop back in when the songs are over. So I think we're going to start with the Snyder Cut song, because the Snyder Cut song probably may not actually make it onto the album Alternate Earth. Oh, and that's another thing too I meant to say. The cover of the album is basically what you see on the thumbnail. I mean, at least that's the working cover right now. But all these songs I'm about to play, the album, I still have 2 songs to finish that have to get recorded. And these right now I just have them out as my own mixes, my own, like I haven't mastered them yet, and I just have them out as singles right now, just so that they're there in the meantime until the whole album's finished. But once the whole album's finished, they're all going to be remastered a little bit better, and they're all going to have the same cover, like the way Urban Ivory has all the same cover. But right now they all have individual single covers from when I uploaded all of them basically to DistroKid. So they're all individual singles right now that are going to be on the forthcoming album. You know what I mean? So that's why they all have different covers right now, just to let everybody know that. Oh, and also I wanted to say, I'm sorry for not saying anything about this on Twitter or anything, and I will later or tomorrow or something, but I just happened to notice today that I had 323 fucking subscribers, and the last time I looked, I had 79. So fucking thank you so much to everybody that fucking subscribed in the last couple of days. Like, that was like a fucking miracle to me. Like, I was like, holy fucking shit. And it was just crazy. Like, I was about to do a giveaway to get to 100, and all of a sudden I'm at 323. So wherever that came from, or whoever's helping me out there, spreading the word, man, fucking thank you. I love you guys, and I plan to stay here entertaining you motherfuckers for a while. So, you know, I'm glad to have everybody new that came on board and subscribed. It's fucking awesome. And I guess I'll probably get a giveaway planned for 500, unless that creeps up on me too. But, you know, maybe next week I'll announce something, do some kind of giveaway for 500, you know, and keep pushing. So, but I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. So yeah, so the Snyder Cut song, okay, what we're about to play here. You know, obviously you guys have heard the clips of it on the beginning and the end of the show. But you know, I made this song. I wanted to do this song from day one that Justice League came out, basically, and I fucking freaked out inside and walked out of the movies like, what the fuck is going on? What is this? You know what I mean? Like everybody else, basically. And you know, I for a while I couldn't really put it together. I couldn't make the puzzle pieces fit in my head to think of how to do it and it not be stupid. You know, like I was very worried, like doing a song about a movie was going to be fucking dumb and come out cheesy and be cliche or whatever or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just didn't want to do it and it not be genuine. And then right before Zack Snyder's Justice League got announced, like we all really came together and ramped up, and that Us United shit was real at the time, you know, and there wasn't all this beef between everybody and shit. And that's evident when you listen to the song and you hear the shout outs I do at the end, because there's people I mention in that shout out at the end of this song that I don't even fuck with no more, and I'm kind of mad at it, honestly, but it is what it is. You know, I just haven't gone back in and changed it. Maybe I will, but I also feel like it should represent the time it was made, and I really didn't know if I should change it regardless of what's happened since then. But either way, you know, it's just the point that we were very unified at the time, and it inspired me to the point where I realized, like, I'm not going to make the song about the movie. I'm going to make the song about everything that we've gone through and done around the movie. Like, I'm going to try to make like an anthem for the movement, basically, you know? And then I wrote the song, I recorded the first verse, made up the hook, and then as I was about to do the second verse, Ray Fisher had dropped all that shit. Like, as I was about, well, I wrote one second verse, and then Ray Fisher really started to come out about Warner Brothers and everything. And I changed up the second verse based around a lot of what he said. And that was also why Ray Fisher shared it on his Instagram story for a few days when I first did it. And that's why I give him the shout out on the end, because before I was even done the final version, he heard the beat and shit and had it shared on his Instagram story, giving me shout outs and shit. And that's why I tell him thanks for the endorsement, homie, on the end of the song and everything. But yeah, what was the fucking I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it was just, it was meant to be like an anthem, you know. And then, oh yeah, and then it got announced. And that's why, and I actually changed, like, it got announced during the process of me still recording the song and finishing up the, like, it was like this week window where the Ray Fisher stuff happened at one end and Zack Snyder's Justice League got announced at the other end, kind of, and the song was getting done during that window. So that's why at the end I change up the second part of the second hook and say, like, you know, now we're getting Zach's JL, you know, like it's actually, so it's like the song actually ended up becoming a journey of like the beginning of the movement to the like success of the movement, you know what I mean? But yeah, so let's get into it. I'm gonna put it on now, and the sound should be way better for you guys than last time. But all right, I'll see you after the song.
There was a time above, a time before. There were perfect things, diamond absolutes. Things fall, things on earth. And what falls is fallen, 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 fallen.
Release the Snyder Cut, release the Snyder Cut. Cut. Release the Snyder Cut. Release the Snyder Cut. Release the Snyder Cut. It was the Justice League. How could you fuck it up? Release the Snyder Cut. Release the Snyder Cut. It was the Justice League. How could you fuck it up? How could you fuck it up? Niggas watch your waiting cut. Take away a great movie. A movie made for us. Made by a man who cared. Someone who doesn't compromise their visions. Acting never scared to take the story there. When I first saw Man of Steel, man, it was just so surreal. Felt like someone finally understood DC from the comics for real. And it made me feel like it was a dream. Like I was really gonna see these pages brought to the big screen. But then they chopped it up, made JL fucking suck. They took that comic accurate vision and betrayed his trust. And the second all of us real fans walked out the AMC, it was so plain to see that it wasn't Zach's movie. And the studio went waiting, changed that the orders can't be shit. It was ridiculous, seeing Flash fall on Diana's tits. And Batman saying something's bleeding really made me sick. Or Superman's horrendous, I'm also a fan of justice. Release the Snyder Cut. Release the Snyder Cut. It was the Justice League. How could you fuck it up? Release the Snyder Cut. Release the Snyder Cut. How could you chop it up and make it fucking suck? Release the Snyder Cut. Release the Snyder Cut. It was the Justice League. How dare you fuck it up? Release the Snyder Cut. Release the Snyder Cut. How dare you chop it up and make it fucking suck?
The bell's already been rung, and they've heard it. But in the dark, among the stars, they know that God is dead.
Yeah. So now let me change from a lyric to spit. Just like we didn't change SNYDER's vision to shit. This man has no clue about DC Comics. And man, what the hell was with Superman's lip? I can't even watch it, it's such a disgrace. I really wish Zeus would punch shots in the face. Should have been a safe space for the actors and crew. Instead you should talk Zach and treat them with abuse. And proceed to rewrite without one single clue. And almost made us fans with the DCEU. Deep movies and you, one nation confetti. You idiots, remove the character death. Snyder's movies inspired us fans so much. Better than a weekend past that day we had the hashtag up. Release the Snyder Cut, and we would not give up till we got to see the vision Warner Brothers promised us. And then we trended up despite all the naysay, and made them notice that we were never gonna go away. Kept fighting every day, and I guess that was the key. Cause now we're really gonna see Zack Snyder's Justice League. Release the Snyder Cut. Release the Snyder Cut. It was the Justice League. And you douchebags fucked it up. Release the Snyder Cut. Release the Snyder Cut. Why did you chop it up and make it fucking suck? Now we're getting Zack JL. Now we're getting Zack JL. And all the naysayers can finally go to hell. Thanks to HBO Max, gonna be a Zack attack. And now we're finally gonna get this vision back on track. Yo, shout out to Ray Fisher. Hashtag Borg Life. Thanks for the endorsement, homie. Hashtag we all fucking stand with you, cuz. Shout out to the whole movement, every last one of y'all. We change history together, all of us. And shout out to all the podcasts and shows that have been on the front line. Ping Pong Flicks, Film Junkie, Nice Cast, Nerd Queens, Fatal J, Garza, Film Guy, Colbert, McClellan, Culture Nerd, Lightcast. All y'all motherfuckers, man. I know I'm forgetting some, but respect to all y'all. I'm a fan. And all y'all helped inspire me to use my voice to do this song. Shout out to Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL for the greatest scores ever written. Shout out to the greatest actor to ever don the cow. Hashtag Batfleck. And last but certainly not least, shout out to Zack Snyder, the man with the fucking plan and why we're all moving in the first place, y'all.
Nice. And look at that. And it pops right off for me. I don't know why I didn't think of just putting the videos in here like this on the first listen party for the first album. I'm so sorry, everyone, because I know that sounded like shit on that first stream. I'm such an idiot that I didn't think of this sooner. But yeah. But yeah, like I said, you know, as you can see on those shout outs, I'm sure a lot of you know a lot of backstory that's happened since then. And I probably wouldn't have mentioned some of the people I mentioned in there. And I'm sure you guys know what I mean because of getting screwed over on certain situations and stuff like that. But you know, it is what it is. Like whatever, like water under the bridge. I can't have hate bogging me down. You know what I mean? But yeah, and I'm really glad the sound's better too. Thanks guys for confirming that for me. So Nat, so like I said, I wanted to do the Snyder Cut song first. I mean, it was more recent when I did it, you know, in the last year, but I just wanted to get it out of the way because it's probably not going to be part of the album only because of the movie clips, you know. So I'd have to take the movie clips out, and I don't know if the song would hit the same without the movie clips. So I might just keep it like a YouTube exclusive or whatever, and not actually release it on the album. But so yeah, so now we're gonna kind of go in chronological order with how I made these songs, basically. Do I watch you? Who's that, Dr. Fee? No, not really. I mean, occasionally if I'm at a friend's house and they have it on, you know, I'll check it out. Like I don't not like it. It's just not something I seek out, you know. I have enough time keeping up with the Flyers, Phillies, Sixers, and Eagles, you know what I mean? So it's like and doing everything I do in life and my day job and everything, you know. So it's like I really just don't have room to add an extra sport at the moment is why, you know what I mean? But it is cool. I love it. I think it's awesome and shit. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just not something I have time to like get into. But yeah, so the first song we're about to get into, and it's kind of crazy that this was the first song I actually did for the new album, you know, because like I was saying last week, when I did this album, you know, this was a slow build back up to this. And it was basically, you know, like I said, me and my ex broke up 2 years ago. And basically 3.5 years ago, when me and her were still together, was at the point when I decided to put my studio, you know, really like look, I gotta just commit. I gotta put the money into this. I gotta get my studio back together, and I gotta start doing music in some form, you know. And like she was really like, you know, against me like kind of becoming ill life again almost, you know what I mean? But like I pitched it more as like I'm gonna produce for money. That's the whole point of the song. The song's called Support, and the whole point of it was when we were still together, she was completely unsupportive of this whole mission. I mean, like I was like really going hard as a producer at the time. Like I even made I got my Instagram up to like 450 followers on one page and then like 200 and something followers on the other page. Because I have like a label, one production company, one M1 for Ill Life. Because my production company and my label is called Rack Stack Music, which just to clear this up, when I came up with the name Rack Stack Music, it wasn't like money. Rappers weren't calling money racks yet, and I meant Rack Stack in the sense of like my music racks, my machines, you know, like my synths and shit. And but it just happened to be cool that it had the dual meaning once that slang became a thing. But it's really supposed to be like music racks. And if I ever get a symbol professionally developed for it, it's going to be something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, but the point of the song was like, you know, like I was working my day job all day doing floors, coming home, and you know, my daughter was like 4 at the time, and you know, I'd come home from work and I wouldn't really be able to like do anything or work because like she was right, you know, daddy right at the door. And that's another reason why there's a lot of bitterness towards my ex right now and the song later down the album, because there's been a whole thing going on where like she's kind of kept my daughter from me since we broke up. I've rarely seen her, and like it's a whole fight I'm about to go through. I mean, I don't, it's been crazy, and it sucks because like I said, I was an everyday dad. I'd come home from work and I'd spend time with her till she went to bed, usually around like 8:30. And then I was working, like I was coming home from my day job doing hardwood floors, taking vitamins so that I'd have energy again at night when I got home. And then after she went to bed, I was working in the studio from like 10 to 3 in the morning, sleeping a couple of hours, going back to work and doing the same thing every day. Like I was extra motivated at the time because, I realized doing hardwood floors, like I've been doing it for like 20 years and I was getting nowhere. I just kept getting, one company was shitty, then another company was shitty. Like now I'm in a pretty good company now where I'm at after the fact, unfortunately, but it caused a big stress in our relationship and everything. And like, it sucked. And I was sick of it. And I was like, I have this talent. I need to fucking do something with it and get the kind of money that I should have with the talent I have. You know what I mean? And I really went hard with it. And she just never saw it. Like I got an attitude from her all the time. Like I was sitting there playing Xbox all night, basically. You know what I mean? And that's how this ended up being the first song, like was me just getting stressed out about her, about that whole situation. And I was making the beat for someone else, actually. Like a lot of the beats that ended up being on this album were like, I was supposed to work with other rappers because I was trying to put a compilation of my beats together. And the other rappers slept on giving me verses, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, well, I'll fill it in then. You know what I mean? Like I just got impatient waiting on putting a song to the beat. And I ended up writing songs to them and stuff. And that was the case with this, is it was going to be someone else's. I play guitar on it, which is also crazy. Like this song really isn't like any other song in the album is the point. And when I actually put the album numbering together, it's probably going to be later on in the album, like a track 7 or 8 or something, when because I'd sing on it. I play guitar on it. It's very emo. And like I said, the song's called Support, and it's all about her not supporting me at the time. But we were still together at the time, whereas songs coming later in the album were not. And when I say stuff about it, which is crazy. It's crazy, but it is what it is. I wrote the song in that moment with that emotion, and I'm not going to go back and change it now because it's telling a story. It's telling a timeline, so let's get into it. And again, the song's called Support.
You gotta fight me, you're the drive inside me. I've been smoking Maytree just to keep the peace, G. Why don't you just trust me? Give me some support, please. I'ma get this money, I'ma make us happy. Why you gotta fight me? Kill the drive inside me. I've been smoking Maytree just to keep the peace, G. Why don't you just trust me? Give me some support, please. Promise I'ma get this money, make us fucking happy. Punching on the wall again. Got blood on my knuckles again. I'm saying you don't gotta play pretend. Accept that I'm alone again. Yeah. everyone stays in a cage. I just want my piece of the pie in the stage. I don't wanna struggle, I don't wanna juggle. Every bill give a stress, we're in trouble. I wanna get out of this down on the double. I wanna have money in duffels and duffels and why you gotta fight me? Kill the drive inside me. I've been smoking lead tree just to keep the peace, G. Why don't you just trust me? Give me some support, please. I'ma get this money, I'ma make us happy. Why you gotta fight me? Kill the drive inside me. I've been smoking lead tree just to keep the peace, G. Why don't you just trust me? Give me some support, please. Promise I'ma get this money, make us fucking happy. Promise I'ma get this money, make us fucking happy. Promise I'ma get this money, make us fucking happy. I'm punching on the wall again. Got fucking blood on my knuckles again. I'm saying you don't gotta play pretend. I just accept that I'm alone again. I just accept that I'm alone again. I just accept that I'm alone again. I just accept that I'm alone again.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, as you can see, that song's it was really just out of the box for me, and like I was kind of like I said, I was listening to so much new shit at the time, and like my taste, what was going on in me musically was changing, and it just came out of me that way, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna make it a song. You know what I mean? I was like, I was one of them deals where like a lot of times when I write songs, like a certain beat will hit me. Kids was like this too. When the guy Resident sent me when I heard the beat, it's like instant. Like I can write the song, start recording it, and like have the melody and everything in 15 minutes because like an inception explodes in my brain and the song all just fucking hits me at once. And then sometimes it's like a separate process of like I'm the beat maker for a month and then I go back with the beats and write the song. So it depends. But when the best song comes out is like when the inception happens and my brain explodes and a song comes out of it basically all at once. But yeah, so the next song in the list is Substance, which is Substance is like, like I said on the last stream, and I've talked about in other songs, like I went through an opiate addiction at one time. At the point when I wrote the song, I had been clean for like 13 years, but and now I'm clean for like 15 years. I mean, I still smoke weed and drink and shit like a normal person, but talk about opiates specifically, that's what I had an addiction with, and that's what I got clean. That's what I stopped when I got clean. You know what I mean? Like the other stuff was like the normal sober me before I ever had an addiction in the first place. Because basically I had hurt my back doing floors, and like, Doc was giving me oxy scripts like they were going out of style, and before I knew it, I was addicted to them, and one thing led to another, and the next thing I know, it was dope. And I had a bad run for a couple of years, and then I finally had my family help me and get me in a program, and I beat it. I kicked it, and that's another reason there was 10 years in between the two albums, because that was part of the coming back process, was going through that and coming back from it. So this song's about that. It's about my addiction. It's about my life leading it, as I said about my mom too. Like the hook starts out with like, I came in with no mother, and that's leading, and and that was one of the definite heavy factors that led into my addiction, I'm sure, like of traumas in life and stuff, so that's why I bring it up. And it's about the fact that like I made it out and got clean, and a lot of friends didn't, like in the year since I've been clean, I've had to watch several friends fall to it, no matter what end of the spectrum they were on as far as using or selling or whatever, you know what I mean? I've just lost a lot of friends to it, a lot, but like, and that's why, like in the hook, I say more than half my friends are dead. And realistically, it's like 75% if, going back to it's crazy. Like, and me and my remaining friends that are alive, often it comes up how crazy it is, and how much it's what a lot of my lyrics and stuff are about, And then I also, the second verse, like I kind of give it a dual meaning. Like even if you look at the single cover, it's a notebook with the actual words of the hook written out with the spoon, I did with like what's supposed to be drugs in the picture on top of it, because it was like a dual meaning thing where like I also in the second verse go into like rappers glorifying shit and that are fake, and like you know what I mean? Like, and it was kind of, when I wrote the song, it was directly about certain people that I'm not going to bring that up or anything, but still it has a global scale to it too, with rap music in general, and people that, glorify the shit from one end of the spectrum rather than looking at the hardships of it. It kind of tells me like, you didn't really go through it. You're fake. You're trying to glorify something that shouldn't be glorified. You know what I mean? Like, so that's a part. So like Substance, the name of the song, Substance. So it was like substance, like substance abuse, and substance, like lyrical substance, and it all ties back into, like I said, like friends that I've lost, and like, just the fact that like I really did go through the shit and I'm talking about it and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So let's get into it.
But they had no bass, cause they wasn't on the record, they was on my veins. Always stayed inside, never showed my face. Last I had to take the trolley to the dope man's place. I was in a bad space and I lost my face. Sick every other day, I was trapped in a cage like a slave to a substance. Didn't even make sense, watching all my friends die, weighing on my conscience. Had to find a way, had to make a change. Live for my kids, had to turn that page. Get through the sickness and fight through the craze, and get my rapping ass back on that stage. So finally I escaped that hell, got my head attached and tried not to dwell. Thank God every day that I wake up well, but I'm a statistic and a lot of homies fell.
With no mother, I done lived in the gutter. Let it suck and take away my pain. Ran the streets with my brothers, had a life like no other man, but more than half my friends is dead. Sometimes I look back and remember when we all was still together, and I shout y'all all out up in heaven. Cause if the streets taught me one thing, it's that life ain't never promised, man, so live it while you have the chance.
Yeah. Fugazi cats rap, but they don't get felt. When you lie to the hood, that's bad for your health. And everybody knows you ain't got no wealth. And the fake moves you make, man, you're burying yourself. I keep it real in Southwest, Phil knows it. That's why they always ask when my next show is. They hear what I spit and they feel it cause they live it. That's why every motherfucker got it bumping and they with it. I'm trying to get the truth, longevity. I'm trying to make my talent in the poverty. I'm trying to paint the crazy shit I've seen so the world can relate to the tragedy. Gonna get to the top even if it kill me. Make them know who I am, make that they chill me. And R.I.P. to my homies on nights. Hope they proud of how I'm down here spitting on life.
I came in with no mother, I done lived in the gutter. Let it substance take away my pain. Ran the streets with my brothers, had a life like no other man, but more than half my friends is dead. Sometimes I look back and remember when we all was still together, and I shot y'all all out
You know, funny fact about that song that, and by the way, thank you, Integrity. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I mean, as you can hear, like I was saying earlier about how my musical horizons have expanded, and I'm really in the synth wave right now and electro pop and stuff like that, especially synth wave. Like I love the whole like bringing back that 80s new wave sound, but like in a new way that kind of like if anyone that doesn't know the synthwave genre and groups like Gunship or the Midnight, people like that, they're if you like that feeling that 80s soundtracks gave you, like Karate Kid and you know, like shit like that, like the way that 80s music sounded in movies kind of back then. It's like they take that and make like a musically complex genre out of it, kind of that is like it's like new wave, but at the same time it's cinematic too, and it's a really cool genre. And as you can hear, it very much inspired this song beat wise when I made the beat. Like I was like that bass line, like I pretty much like I purposely used like an old analog Moog emulation. Like if anyone doesn't know what a Moog is, it's a really big synth from the 80s that costs like thousands and thousands of dollars, like double digits. Like they're a really big synth company that a lot of professional musicians use. But I had like a virtual emulation of it and created that bass out of one of them to give it that like crusty 80s feel synth line, you know what I mean? With the out like with the arpeggio, the do 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 do, you know what I mean? And also the rain. That was what I was about to say. Fun fact about that song: when you hear the rain on the intro and the outro of the song, like I was about to start recording that song. I had the beat done, all the mix was done on the beat and everything, and I had the mic set up and was about to start recording the song that day. And I kind of felt like the intro needed something, but I was just going to record the song and then figure it out after the fact. Like, and then right as I was about to start recording, this huge thunderstorm starts out back of my house. Right. And I had the mic set up in my kitchen at the time in my house. And at first I got pissed, like, what the fuck? Because like my condenser mic picks all that sound up and like I couldn't record the song because of the thunder and shit. And then I was like, wait a minute, fuck this. And I took the mic off the mic stand and like, I got like 100-foot cable, you know, that I use for shows and stuff too. So I like walked it to the back door and just like, I had a little awning that blocked it from the rain. And I just took the mic and like hung it out with my hand out the back door and let it record for like 5 minutes. And when you hear that rain and thunder on the beginning and the end of it, that's actually was the rain and thunder outside of my house right before I started recording. And as soon as the storm stopped, like the storm lasted like a half hour stop, I put the intro and outro on there out of it and then did the fade outs and shit. And then I recorded the song and like the intro and outro of the rain were there. Like, and it was like fate. It was like meant to be. It was like God gave me the rain as a gift. It was pretty cool. So, okay. So where are we at here? Okay. So the next song, Naysayers. This is the one where I go hard. This is kind of like I'm spitting fast. This is like a, this was about everyone from my baby's mom to friends, whatever, just a lot of people around me at the time that like when I started doing this album and started releasing shit through DistroKid and like was telling my family and everything about it. Like don't get me wrong, through the years of Ill Life and get my shows and everything, my family has always been uber supportive of me, especially like my dad and my younger brothers. Like, and my sisters too. My one sister Danielle, she did the photo shoots for the first album cover, for the Urban Ivory cover. And I don't mean to like put them down in a way like they weren't supportive or anything, but just like, you know, the fact that I was coming back at it at an older age, I got a little criticism and stuff. And that's kind of where the song came from, you know, and then bringing up other shit that happened in the past where people didn't believe in me and shit like that. The song's just about naysayers of the Ill Life brand over the years, kind of, and shit like that. And then on the third verse, I give props to the people that specifically helped along the journey, kind of, you know what I mean? Like stuff that happened back in the day with shows and shit like that. Actually, when you hear the part on the third verse where I'm saying heaven and hell didn't show up, and I say thank you to my man Rusty Pigeon for showing up when heaven and hell just ain't show up, you know, that I'm talking about. If you watch the first stream, and I tell the whole story of how I did the show opening for Rod Digga and the contest and everything, and the whole story of what happened that night. That's what I'm referring to in that verse, just to let everybody know. But it's a hype track, and you know, it's everybody I think will like it. So.
Ill life, ill life, life.
this mic. My age has anything to do with skill. Okay, you right, go take another pill. Meanwhile, I'll be working still, grinding just to get a mill, grinding for the love and thrill. Get the streams up and make a mill. It makes you feel ill life's rap. Take every bad negativity right back. Take every word of shit you talk, in fact. Get it to a place and fuck you and knock that back. Cause I'll be here till the day I die. Never let the music fall to the wayside. Try to step back to the blue collar life. Woke up and seen I was living in a lie. Living in disguise, I was not myself. Knew with a plan I could see this well. Knew from the gate I was meant to tell the tales of Southwest Philadelphia. Tales from hell, back again. ADDICTION. Every single moment channel through this pen. And never gonna stop till my heartbeat ends. And I can't pretend like the hate don't faze me. It kinda makes me go crazy. But I know if I just don't quit and keep working, the day will come when I get paid. See, give everything to my babies and leave non-believers behind. And bring them for friends who was true for the ride, while the dummies who wasn't can be fades on Spotify.
Gotta talk shit, they get even facted like why they act like I'm making shit, this is what I do, bitch, why they gotta talk shit, haters even facted like why they say I'm gonna work and get rich, I never quit.
Don't understand how cats can't see, especially people close to me, how this is far from just a dream. It's a business plan like anything, and I ain't looking for a record deal. I ain't looking for a hit to steal. I'm doing me and what I feel, cause I know my fans like me want real. Know they wanna hear the truth, know they wanna hear my life. Know they don't want some iced out spoof, it's the only way I know his proof. I drive a 98 fuel for Saber, I got a shit job paying at the table. Come to my house and there ain't no Kato. Got packs around and stacked on the table, but still I'm able to kill this mic. Produce these tracks, make them sound real tight. Ignore the hate and pursue this life, it's an ill process, but I'll be alright. Your life's who I always been, even as a kid singing and dancing, even as an infant that's records them. Big Iggy's headphones and Evo spin. Under my skin it has always lived, deep inside my fucking bones. And that's why I'm confused when I see this non-belief up on my phone. Cause Ill's about to bring it home, make a mill and change these stripes. And if you ain't support me now, then Ill's gonna leave you out of sight.
Why they gotta talk shit, they get even facted like why they act like I'm making shit, this is what I do, bitch, why they gotta talk shit, haters even facted like why they say I'm gonna work and get rich, I never quit.
And can't forget my real motherfuckers who've been with me from the gate. And all my Southwest Philly homies who was at the shows relate. And always had my back on the block. Someone fuck a little life, they got rocked. Just like my songs in every spot. And rarely had to pay for twat. And one love to my Carol Cats for tagging my name up on the wall. As big as a billboard behind 7. No street fucking shopping mall. And Seth, my real best friend for always, teaching me to hold my head high. Apply that shit to rapping now. The limit is the fucking sky. Ain't no lie, I needed that. And you played a part in all these tracks. And all y'all help create a life. And that's why it's time I spit these facts. And call me Rusty Pigeon, you my cuz for stepping up. And my biggest show to back me up when heaven and hell just ain't show up. Shit was fucked up and helped me sift the bitches from the real ones. And help me cut out cats who was just using me and be done. And why all my true friends is gonna get invested in. And why these fake ass snakes will never be thought of again.
Why they gotta talk shit, they get even facted like why they act like I'm making shit, this is what I do, bitch, why they gotta talk shit, haters even facted like why they say I'm gonna work and get rich, I never quit, they won't be missed. Naysayers. I just wanna say thanks to y'all motherfuckers for putting gas on the fire. Cause on the real, that shit ain't never going out now.
You know, it's funny. There's a couple of points in that song that I almost wish I could pause it and like point things out to people, but like I don't want to ruin the symmetry of the song playing. But I don't know if anyone noticed. First of all, on the second verse, I gave Devo a shout out on the second verse because I fucking loved Devo as a kid. I don't know if anybody remembers Devo from the 80s, but I loved them so much as a kid from listening to my dad's records that it was my first concert ever. My dad took me to Tower Theater in Philly to see them at 69th Street. And I was 4 years old, right? This is a crazy fucking story. And to this day, it's one of them stories that it's like why I decided to do music. Like it was one of them moments in my life where I was like, I'm gonna be him when I grow up, type of thing. Because the lead singer, right, when they like, first of all, on the way into the thing, my dad bought me one of the Whippet flower pots. You know what I mean? Like, well, he got one too and wore it with me, right? And like the lead singer in Tower Theater, it's set up like it's all seats going forward to the stage, and then there's a balcony at the back because it used to be like an old school play theater, and that it's also where the movie Hairspray, the original one, that's where they are. That's where it's shot at. That's where the TV studio is. Um, but yeah, the lead singer during Whippet went up to the fucking balcony and swung down on a rope. Now, I don't know if he saw me going nuts because they were doing Whippet. Like, because I loved it so much as a kid. Like, I fucking loved Whippet. You know, I really liked the album after that too. But like when Whippet would come on, my dad would have the record on when his friends would be over. Everything, I'd go nuts and dance and shit. And I was really going crazy when that song was on. My dad had me like up on the seat, and like I was standing on my seat next to my dad. And the dude swung down and basically landed on my dad's fucking shoulders, the singer, and put the mic up to me during the hook and let me sing like the Whippet line. Like I fucking screamed it like whip it good, and like went nuts into the microphone. And it was just such a cool moment for me as a kid. And that's why on that verse I say, even as a kid singing and dancing, Big Edie's headphones Devo spins, you know what I mean? Talking about my dad's old records and shit. And also on the third verse, I wanted to shout out my young boys. When I say, and one love to my Carroll cats. Carroll is a street in my neighborhood in Southwest Philly that me and a lot of my friends used to hang out on. And there was this whole crew of young bucks that hung out there. That was a lot of my friends, like younger brothers and sisters and shit, that like when they got older, they ended up hanging, you know, I hung out with them too. They were good friends of mine. And some of them are dead too, RIP. But like at one time when I had my first old tape, Artistic Suicide, was out in the neighborhood and shit, like a lot of people were supportive of me. People were coming to my shows and shit. Like I was like very like ghetto celeb at the time, kind of with the music thing. And you know, like I said, for a while, I kind of had that like top of the food chain spot with the rappers in my neighborhood and stuff. And it was one day I remember like it was me and one of my boys like woke up, like the Young Bucks really loved my tape. Like they were always like, yo, fucking Ill Life, cause put Ill Life on and shit, you know, these young boys. And these were some crazy fucking young boys. Like I'm talking like, you know, like these dudes were like 12 at the time and were like out doing the dumb shit. Like, you know, me and my friends did and shit too, like breaking in the cars and all that crazy shit. You know, they were like street kids, even though they were 12. They were like out all hours in the night, you know, and I partied with some of their parents and shit like that too. And like it was just, you know, crazy hood inner city. Like they were some crazy young bucks and shit, but they were my boys, you know what I mean? They were like, that's how a lot of my friends were growing up. It's like to people that didn't know them, from people not from my neighborhood, a lot of them would be looked at like psychotic killers or something, you know, but to me, they were just like the kid that grew up down the block from me, that, you know, they were my boys, you know what I mean? Like, and they looked out for me. And I didn't see them that way, you know what I mean, until I was older and had an outside perspective and looked back on what my life was compared to the rest of the world, especially white America, because like I'm not that so much, you know what I mean? Like I'm one of them people that like all this like reverse racism that's okay and everything right now. Like it kind of drives me nuts because like I'm white. I mean, I'm 25% Puerto Rican too, but I was raised white, you know what I mean, by my Irish English pops and everything and family. And like on paper, I'm not white, you know what I mean? Like I like the way I grew up and where I'm from and the financial bracket my family was from, like it's like it's like I feel like as a whole my race gets judged on the rich people in our race, you know what I mean, and it gets put on the whole race because of what fucking rich people do. And that's like I don't fit in with them, and you know what I mean. It's just it is what it is. But it's like I forget what my point was in the first place, but but let me get back to the playlist here. Oh yeah. Oh, the story about the tag. Yeah, I say, you know, one love to my Carol cats for tagging my name up on the wall as big as a billboard behind 7, no street fucking shopping mall. I say that because it literally happened. Like, we at 70th and Elmwood, we had this shopping center back there, right? And one night, these young bucks, like, I woke up one morning, like, my boy came, knocked up for me. It was just a normal day. Like, we were walking, smoking a blunt. I grabbed a 40. And as we're like walking to go to one of our homies' houses and start the day and start partying and stuff, we walk through the back way of the shopping center. And all of a sudden, I get to the one side of it, and my name is like, it's like the size of the side of a Mack truck back. You know what I mean? Like the trailer part says "Ill Life" across the wall in graffiti. And I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, it was such a validating moment to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love them for doing that. To this day, when I see one of them out at the bar or something, I'm like, dude, I'm like, you guys were the shit for tagging my name back in the day. I'm sure it's long gone and painted over by now, but at the time, it was like, damn, like someone else tagged. I mean, they spelled it mad wrong. Don't get me wrong. But it's like you knew what it was. You know what I mean? And it was pretty fucking awesome. And that's why I shouted them out on that verse and shit. But let me get back to the playlist over here. This is fun. I'm liking this. Okay, so the next song is called Lost in Thought. And excuse me. Lost in Thought is exactly what it says it is. This is a night that, like, this was right after. Okay, so let me explain how things went down with me and my ex. Like, me and my ex, like, we had the 3-bedroom house, like I said, and out in the burbs and everything. And I got laid off for a while and went into a lot of debt with the house. And then I went back to work right before my ex had moved out and tried to catch it up and not lose the house. But it was like too little, too late, kind of. And we ended up like we were going to lose the house. So she and my daughter went to like stay at her mom's and stuff. But at the time, it wasn't like when she moved out, we weren't supposed to be breaking up. It was supposed to be like, you know, we were going to save for a couple months. I was just going to rent a room or something. And then we were going to get another house and move back in. You know what I mean? And then a couple months into that, I found out through Facebook and stuff like that, like she was seeing another guy, and my whole world came crashing down. I ended up punching a hole in a wall at a customer's house and lost my job at the time. And it was all it was messed up and stuff. And so I just wanted to make that point first, because on the third verse of this song, that's one of the issues. Basically, it was like I was stressing about everything at the time. And this was one of those therapy moments with the pad and pen where I just sat down and did 3 verses venting about it. And even the picture that you see on the cover is a picture of me looking in the mirror that I did like some artsy effects to the picture. But it was literally like that stress is in my eyes at the time. And like, I felt like my head was going to explode, and I just vented it onto the page with 3 verses. And the third verse is about like me and this had just happened. I had just found out about my ex. And on top of that, other shit was going wrong and stuff like that. And I just vented about all of it, basically, is what it is. And that's why it's called Lost in Thought, because I was just like, felt like my head was spinning and I was lost in thought. So let me put that on.
And I was just thinking about some shit last night. And I was just thinking about some shit last night. And I was just thinking the other day about the way that I rhyme and the things I say. And if I got enough talent to get it played, or these curators wanna just swipe away, I like to not that they gotta just grind till it happen. I done too much time, can go back to the trapping. So I would just push through the negative yapping and keep doing me till they all love my rapping. And all of them clapping and screaming my name at the top of their lungs like they fucking insane. Cause they offer my pain and they offer my shame and relate to this shit and all like this. The same is engraved in my name and the I and the L. Cause everyone's life can get ill and be hell. And plenty of people are sat in a cell. We came from the poverty where we as well. And I was just thinking about some shit last night. And I was just thinking about some shit last night. And I was just thinking about some shit last night. And I was just trying to get my head on right. And I was just thinking about this fucked up game called life.
still hear it, don't seem right. I didn't value life, felt like I took my friends out, so I thought I might sit and vent, cause life is like one big predicament. Cause I'm always chasing the bills and rent, and I just cannot look back and repent. I cannot regret, I cannot forget. I would rather go get it, get out instead. I cannot regret, I cannot forget. I would rather go get it before I'm dead. Get up out the red and just stack all these racks till the ceiling just cracks and it pulls out the back. Wanna swim in my cash, and that's why I won't slack to make sure my family's in luxuries last.
I was just thinking about some shit last night. And I was just thinking about some shit last night. And I was just thinking about some shit last night. And I was just trying to get my head alright. And I was just thinking about this fucked up game for life.
And I was just sitting here lost and thought about the way that my family's been torn apart. And I just look at my little girl's broken heart and the drawing on the wall of our family and kitty yard. Wish I could hit restart, wish I could fix the tracks, but now shit's happening that just can't be taken back. And every night I crack watching us fade the black, picturing you with him, party monster is back. Now it's the weekend, I'm mixing a drink, knocking them back just to make me not think. Pretending it's fun, but it's really just thinking. I really just wish you would've stopped to think. But still every moment's surreal, like this isn't me, like this isn't what we could be. But now she pushed me to the brink, making me think, guess I'll just push through, get lost in it.
I was just thinking about some shit last night. And I was just thinking about some shit last night. And I was just thinking about some shit last night. And I was just trying to get my head alright. And I was just thinking about this fucked up game for life. And I was just thinking about some shit last night. And I was just thinking about some shit last night. And I was just trying not to kill myself. And I was just trying to get my head alright. Thinking about some shit last night.
That is one of my favorite beats of my own. I love that beat. That synth line came to me and that drum, and I was just like, and then on the hooks, I thought to like, because like I said, you know, like I've evolved with music a lot over the last 10 years. And like when I made the album in 2010, it was very much like the period of like, you know, Jay-Z and Rough Riders and all that stuff. You know what I mean? It was very basic, like verse, hook, you know, whereas a lot of the new hip hop that's come out now, shit has gone in totally different directions where like the verse will be the hype part of the drums and the hook will go calm and you know what I mean? So I was trying to do one of them things where like, you know, like on the hooks, like the drums go underwater kind of like I low pass filtered them, you know, so it has that like underwater sound kind of, and then they come back in hard like a real drum kit when I start the verses. But yeah, that song that's I love that song. I really do. It's one of my favorite of my own, honestly, because you know, like I said, it was really even at the end, the way you hear me like woo with the auto tune on, it was literally like at that moment, like when I had just recorded that third verse, I like, you know, I got welled up doing that third verse and talking about my daughter with the drawing, you know, and even like the first verse talking about like, am I going to make it rapping or am I just wasting my time? And then the second verse about drugs and all that shit. Like, it was all like, you know, I was having one of those, like, I'm going to explode because of all this bullshit that I've been through type of moments, you know what I mean? And like, why can't something just go easy for me? Why can't something just go right? You know what I mean? And yeah, so it was a very personal journey, that song. Like, and I really love the beat. Like, I don't know what it is about that synth line. Like, when I created it, you know, I heard the sound right away. Like, I kind of created the patch, like was tweaking things and hit that sound and started to play that chord, that line. And to me, it reminded me of like an old 80s TV show or something, like St. Elmo's Fire or something, like, you know, like a theme song to like an 80s drama TV show. And it's just like, I just loved the way it hit with the drums and shit. It was crazy. So anyway, so yeah, so moving right along off of that third verse of that song, the next song is called Bad Guy. And it literally, it was like, this is like right with the relationship stuff with my ex. This was like after I knew about the other dude, or no, actually, no, these two songs are mixed up. Actually, they should have been in reverse order. I'm sorry. This song was done before I knew about the other guy. But she was also like heavily criticizing me at the time, and like after like the first month of her being at her mom's, but during the second month before I found out about the guy, she started to like do all this, like, well, I don't know if I'm going to come back necessarily and stuff like that. And that's what made me start to look into to find out about the other guy in the first place. You know what I mean? Because to me, like, you got to understand, we were together for 10 years. We had a kid together that was 4 at the time. And like, you know, I thought we were starting a life. I thought it was just a bump in our road and we were going to work things out and spend the rest of our life together. Like, I really thought this girl was my soulmate at the time and stuff, you know what I mean? And like, I was meant to have a family with her and everything. So this all came as like a big shock to me and stuff, you know what I mean? But this song was right before I had found out about the other dude, and was like me saying, you know, kind of like criticizing her back for the things she was criticizing me for, and saying like, I guess I'm the bad guy. You know, I guess I'm just a big dickhead for keeping a roof over your head and shit like that. And it's kind of like, you know, that's kind of what it's about. But you know, like even at the end of the song, I say like, and despite all this, I really wish you'd come back. That's because I didn't know about the other dude yet. You know what I mean? Like, and I was still kind of being sentimental with her, even though I was talking shit to her at the same time. Because there's a song later on in the album called Emo-less, whereas after I found out about the guy, and it's a lot different vibe than this. So, because this was more like of a ballad kind of, but even the cover of the single, it's a picture of us as a family when my daughter was like a baby, but I blurred it so that you can't really see my daughter or my ex's faces, because I wanted to like protect their anonymity, you know what I mean? And then I have like drawn on top of the picture, I have like Joker X's and a smile on my face like a villain, you know, is the whole point. But you'll see, just take a listen. It's kind of like, it's a ballad type of song, piano part that I made and stuff. It's like, you know, it's emo-ish and stuff. You'll see. Like,
I'm the bad guy. Maybe this is just goodbye. I guess I'm just a big dickhead for keeping a roof over your head. So I guess I'm the villain, taking the blame for our problems. And you pretend that you tried, but you're living a lie, just being there doesn't solve them. So I just, baby, I swear I didn't plan on killing you on this album, but the more you push away, the animosity's building. Cause you're getting kinda sicky, laying this all at my feet. When life gave us a bag of lemons and you simply retreat, and just being physically present isn't trying at all. But instead of looking in the mirror, you just put up a wall. And honestly, you're a cool person and you've always held back. And I always took it on the chin and tried to keep us on track, and tried to keep us intact. Sometimes it's like pulling teeth when I would work all day and wanna kiss and get a cold cheek, a cold shoulder going out when it could be a day night. Seemed like the only time you stayed for us was stressing and fights. Cause you take off work when your friends were there, should go do something and get a sitter with no problem. But for us, you do nothing. And when our anniversary comes, you always have to go in. Like God forbid we spend one night being a couple. So I guess I'm the bad guy, and maybe this is just goodbye. I guess I'm just a big dickhead for keeping a roof over your head. So
like I don't ever listen when I literally think of you before I make every decision. And every issue that you have, I'm always trying to fix. But you never understood all you can fix with a kiss, or a smile, or a tug, simple touch or a hug. Some simple emotion could have easily just kept us in love, but you was too busy bashing me, blaming me for everything, and never took the time to just appreciate and be happy. Cup half empty mentality, but what about the half I filled? In all the years I put you on my back and got us up the hill, I guess that all means nothing, right? Even though I give us a life and nothing's good enough for you if it doesn't change overnight. And now that you left, you manage citizen work every day, but when you were here, you never could. It all fell on my plate along with your hate, and still I want us on track. And honestly, despite all this, I really wish you come back. I guess I'm the bad guy, and maybe this is just goodbye. I guess I'm just a big dickhead for keeping a roof over your head. So I guess I'm the villain, taking the blame for our problems. And you pretend that you tried, but you're living a lie. Just being there doesn't solve them. So I'll just be the bad guy. And maybe this is just goodbye. So I'll just be the bad guy.
Yeah, so I think you can see, like, from what the song was about, with the ironicism I was going for with the cover. You know, it was like a moment where we were happy and I was being daddy and we were a family, and it's like now all of a sudden I'm like this monster after she left. You know, like that was the whole point. Like, you know, it was supposed to be ironic that like it's this happy family picture and like I'm the villain. You know what I mean? Like that was the point. But yeah, so as you can see the timeline moving along with that, there's one more song towards the end of the album called Emo List that's like the opposite of how that was. That's like me going hard at her because I found out about the dude and freaked the fuck out, you know, and that's why it's called Emo List, because at the time I felt like she just didn't have emotion or something, you know. It's actually in 2 songs because we got 3 songs left on the album. Now, the next song is You Don't Know, which is, if anybody was on the stream last week, you heard the original version of it with the other beat maker from Buffalo that I was talking about that I lost touch with and everything. And that's why I pulled it from the old album, but I decided to redo it for the new album instead of putting it back onto the old album, because I made a brand new beat for it. I kind of came at the flow a little different, because like, I don't know if you've noticed yet, but like I do a lot of different lyrical styles on the album. Like you know, I very much consider myself a great MC. You know what I mean? And not just because I have a big head, because of years of hard work and the respect that I've gotten from other MCs in my neighborhood and everything. You know, I consider myself a great MC. And when I put an album together, I take it very seriously and I try to do it in vain of all the great musicians I love. You know what I mean? And one thing most of my favorite MCs have in common, whether it be in the past, like Nas, Prodigy from Mobb Deep, Biggie, you know what I mean, or Jay-Z, DMX, that generation, even T.I. is my favorite rapper of all time. I think T.I. with content, like, and like I said last week, I'm not talking about his radio tracks, even though I love some of them too, but like his hood tracks, like, you know, his album tracks, like there's no one that keeps it as hood and has such fucking wordplay with delivery and singing and everything the way he does. Like, I just think T.I. is better than Biggie and Pac. You know what I mean, is what I'm saying. And if T.I. would have died too, it'd be a whole different story, but he's still alive and just keeps making amazing music because he's incredible. But you know, Jeezy, like basically all the great rappers I love. If you go back and listen to their albums, most of them always try to tackle whatever's going on. You know what I mean? At the time, kind of like different styles and everything. You know what I mean? Even now, like Joyner Lucas, you know what I mean? Logic, people that I like now, even NF, like, and I always try to do the same thing. I try to, like, if you listen to the album, it's like one song will be like trap and fast, and one song will be like singing and rock, and then another song will be like straight up East Coast Philly state prop. And that's the case with this next track, You Don't Know. Now, if you heard the old one last week, it had the sample of the girl singing on it, like, you don't even know, like that one. Now, this one's different. This one, I sampled my own voice, chopped it up and screwed it and slowed it down. So it's like, you don't know, like on the sample buttons, you know what I mean? But the whole point of the song is like, it's called You Don't Know, and it's all about my neighborhood. And it's about the hardships in my neighborhood and fucked up shit that I've seen happen in my neighborhood to myself and other people. You know, and just to demonstrate how crazy the shit is, there's a part in I don't want to get too much in detail because of the reality of knowing these people in real life and stuff. But on the third verse, I talk about my boy stealing a car from out front of a sports bar. Like, this actually happened at one time. It was this Mustang that the dude that he was with his chick, all this other stuff. So like, we went to another neighborhood at the time. We were from Southwest. We went to South Philly, which is where I live now. But back then, like, you know, we were different sides of the tracks, would fight, you know. So we went down there, stole the car while the dude was in the bar, and then my boy like backed up, honked the horn, gave him the finger, and drove away. You know what I mean? Like, and we ended up having the car for a few days, because that's what would happen. Like, one of my boys would steal a car, it'd be around for a few days, and people would use it. And then, you know, eventually it would get hot, and like we'd leave it sitting on cinder blocks somewhere, strip it for parts and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I didn't really do it, but like my boys did, you know what I mean? I was just like, stereos was like my thing, me and my best friend's thing, stealing stereos out of them and stuff. Like, well, we never shit where we ate. That was like one of the rules, you know. We would like go to other places, like more wealthy places than ours, you know what I mean? But just saying, I was young. This was a lot of years ago. No offense to anybody that's had their shit stolen or anything, you know, like, I'm not saying I'm proud of it or anything, but yeah, it's, you know, it's just, it's like, but anyway, my point was, I say, you know, after I say about him stealing the car, I say I even joy rode in the whip until some beat up motherfucker had to let off a clip. And this literally happened. This was a night in my life where like we were in the stolen car and we were riding around, and a friend of mine, an associate of mine at the time, was riding around on his bike and was really D'd up out of his mind. If you don't know what D'd up means, it's like, it's Philly slang for like Zanny at the time. And just decided to let off a whole clip at the car as we rode by, even though it was all our friends on the corner and stuff. He was just so fucked up that he was a moron. And this person was the kid of someone that like owned a big food establishment in my neighborhood and still does, and I still get food there and stuff. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to say anything by name, but it's just crazy, you know. It's like the next day we were cool again, kind of thing. And that's how crazy shit was in my neighborhood, that like something like that could happen, and the next day you could be having a beer with the person or something, you know what I mean? Like, it was just, you know, that was kind of normal to us, you know what I mean? I mean, there was times I'd be sitting on front steps drinking 40s with my friends and stuff, and like one of my friends would have beef with someone else, and they would like ride by and shoot guns off at the steps or something, and like we'd all duck and stuff and just get right back up and sit down in the same exact spot and keep drinking like nothing happened and shit like that, you know. So, but this is all like, you know, just, it's at the time when I wrote the song, a lot of bad shit happened to friends of mine. I had a couple of friends get shot and killed, and a lot of friends OD and get killed and shit like that. And that's what this whole song's about, is like, you don't know, because it's kind of talking to, like I said earlier, like, you know, a lot of the world, especially white people, grew up a lot different than I did, you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm trying to like paint the picture like a movie, you know, like Jay-Z says, I paint pictures with poems, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to like get that point across, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know, like, it's like you'd be amazed if you've seen some of the shit I really seen and shit, you know what I mean? So let's get into that one. And then there's two left after this, and then we'll be at the end. So, all right, here we go.
Hey yo, Philly stand up. That's
This one for the streets right here. Streets, yeah. Yeah, about the shit I done seen. Growing up in Philly every day, looking at fiends and lost dreams. No cream, lost too many from the team. Street lights ignite the shine down upon murder scene. And ODs, lost more to overdoses than toasters. Dealing with the pain of being the one that put them on the dope shit. Cop trips on the market east with a dub. Cause every drug under the sun for sale and brotherly love. Yeah. How the tension be drastic. Late night street fight, now the bulls in the casket. Got the cemetery looking like it was St. Patrick's. Fam looking, wishing he'd have just got his ass kicked instead of blasted. But that's just how the hood done changed. It ain't a fucking thing I'm trying to glorify. Got that pain, this ain't a game. And I'm a shame upon those who make it seem like one is a hammer ain't a proper or empty piece of jewelry, son. Yo, how these cats doing the hood? Close range for small change, no good in the hood. Philly struggling every night, no matter what you do. Cause even when you out of trouble, the trouble find you. Yo, how the streets of Philly at night, losing friends to burners, needles, prison balls, and crack pipes. It ain't right, and this year a lot more than a flow. And most these motherfuckers out here, man, they don't even know. Yeah, how we be in the grind. You know the city never sleep. It's 24/7 crime and 24/7 lines and 24/7 dimes and 24/7 the 12th be trying to make us through time. Southwest Philly, home with a real killers, real addicts, real victims of steel. Real cats around my way, they ain't gonna never back down. Same thing apply to rap, that's why I'm taking this crown. Yeah, I cats all around the way. Couple cats I pass guns with should be NBA. What can I say? Maybe if they lived in love with Mario, college prep going on instead of Philly cops hemming them. No helping them. These fools don't give a fuck about these children. They just think that they waiting for graduation to prison. The system really killed a hook from up under. Don't even matter if you black or white, you're still just a number. Yeah, yo, how these cats doing the hood? Close range for small change, no good in the hood. Philly struggling every night, no matter what you do. Cause even when you out of trouble, the trouble find you. Yo, how the streets of Philly at night, losing friends to burners, needles, prison balls, and crack pipes. It ain't right, and this year a lot more than a flow. And most these motherfuckers out here, man, they don't even know. How these streets just took us under at a young age. Learning many ways, crime haze, shit would have you amazed. How a cat with no job still managed to eat. And how cats that's on the run still hunting the streets. And hunt for your sneaks, your money, jewelry, TV, and sports car. Motherfuckers will take your whip from right up front of the sports bar. No bullshit, I even enjoy rolling the whip. Until some beat up motherfucker had to let off a cliff. Yeah, how the temp be rising. Seem like fire plugs ain't enough to cool the dying. Stop the sirens, all these motherfuckers firing. Come down and spend the night if you cats think I'm lying. This is real life, why you think they call us real adults? This is hell, ain't no place for a weak man to dwell in a cell. Ain't no place for this MC to dwell. This motherfucker right here got too many stories to tell. Yo, how these cats doing the hood? Close range for small change, no good in the hood. Philly struggling every night, no matter what you do. Cause even when you out of trouble, the trouble find you. Yo, how the streets of Philly at night, losing friends to burners, needles, prison balls, and crack pipes. It ain't right, and this year a lot more than a flow. And most these motherfuckers out here, man, they don't even know. And most these motherfuckers out here, man, they don't even know. And most these motherfuckers out here, man, they don't even know. Don't even know. Hope y'all enjoyed this little trip through the streets of Southwest Philadelphia, where I call home. Sometimes it's a war zone. Word up.
Yeah. So as you see, that was a hard joint. That beat too, I purposely, I don't know if anyone notices, but I purposely tried to make that synth sound. Like I was getting like the Beat It, like Michael Jackson Beat It feel from the 80s kind of from it, you know, like but yeah, there was a couple of things during the song that I wanted to point out after the fact. Oh, yeah, in the way I start the second verse, I just wanted to point out when I say like how we be in the grind, you know, the city never sleep. It's 24/7 crime and 24/7 lines and 24/7 dimes and 24/7 the 12th be trying to make us through time. Southwest. The 12th, I'm talking about 12th district. That's our police district, like in my neighborhood. That's what, you know, they were like the cops we went to war with when we were young, basically. You know, they were like another corner or something. Like, but yeah. So where are we at in the list now? Let me see here, because I think emo list is next. Yes. Okay. So emo list is next. Now this is the John. Like I said, that the stuff with my ex, it was an evolution through the creation of the album. And this is after I found out about the other dude, had gotten over her, knew I didn't want her back, was mad at her by now, you know what I mean? And was just kind of like, how the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? And also, I had big suspicions that, you know, like I said, like the dude, like I thought it was going on for a while. Like I thought it like that I had been lied to, and it was definitely going on before I was aware that we were completely breaking up. You know what I mean? Like, so I was kind of cheated on and shit. You know what I mean? So I kind of went off on this one, and it's a hook where I sing too. It's a pretty big beat that I made, and this is the last beat of mine on the album too. Or no, wait, there should be. Hold on, there's a song missing from the list. Hold on a second. Oh, what the hell's going on? Hold on 1 second, guys. I just realized. Hold on, I got to just add. There's a song missing from the end of the album that I just realized. That's why I was like, I'm just gonna upload it real quick. I don't know how I ended up doing that, but yeah, because there should be 2 more songs, not 1. Or I mean 3 more songs, not 2. Okay. Boom. Boom. Okay, so that's uploaded now. Hopefully it won't mess the stream up. I'll wait to start the next song. It should only take like a minute. But yeah, so emo list is next, and then after that is Kids. Kids is my boy Resonance beat. And then the last song is My Soul, which is my beat again. So there's 2 songs left with my beats, one with my boy Resonant. He's the only one that's not my beat on the album. And it's because, like I said, this dude's an amazing producer. And like me as a producer, I'm very good at making dramatic shit. I'm very good at making serious shit, even emo shit, even rock shit. But when it comes to that bounce, when it comes to a song that like can go in the club and make people dance, I'm not very good at that. And this dude, my homie Resonant, he is good at that. He's great at that. And still keeping the beat deep and street at the same time. I love the dude. If he wasn't so fucking expensive, I'd have a couple more of his beats on the album. But, you know, like, he's my homie, but I still paid him. You know what I mean? Because, like, he's running a business. He's a producer working for hire. So it's like, you know, honestly, he's going to end up being big. And he's already worked with some big people. So in my opinion, he gave me a steal because it was only $200 on the lease. And I'm able to use it unlimited. So. And we're still homies, and he's still hitting me up with new beats and shit like that. You know what I mean? So I'm sure if it got to the point where I was big enough for him to be making money off the streams, he wouldn't be charging me like that. It would be a different story. You know what I mean? But I have no problem supporting a producer if the product's right and I want to work with them. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, so anyway, this beat's mine. This is emo list. And this is me going off on my ex because of finding out she was cheating on me and stuff. I mean, like I said, I'm over her now. I've been over her for a while. I've been seeing someone else for a long time now. So it's like it's water under the bridge at this point. But at the time, it was the emotion I was in. I was freaking out, and I used the fucking notebook and pen as a therapist again. You know what I mean? And that's what the result was this song. So let's get into it.
You fucked up the real thing. Yeah. Bitch, you fucked up the real thing. You were telling me you think I need therapy, and I'm starting to think you're right. I'm really angry, but therapy to me is a pen and a pad. And I'm pushing it for you, that was all that I had. I was all on my bag, I was all on my head. Dreading over you in another man's bed. Dreading over you in another man's life and in another man's head, and leaving me for dead. So I got back on my bike again. I put the train wheels on to start life again. I start the pedal hoping that I just might again find another one that I could really call best friend. Really not pretend, baby, more than you. Baby, you were just right and none of this was true. Baby, deep down you never really were my boo. When I imagine 10 years of emotion too. Wish just that you was a narcissist. Never felt the electric between our lips. And never felt the temptation for
flows the rip and only passionate with alcohol to sip. You a damn cold bitch and I'm sick of tongue biting. Playing that you're right just to not be fighting. Playing it was real when you was taking flight. And I need to just accept that you're really just trifling. Really just spiteful, really just hateful. Straight out the gate you was fucking with the bitch fool. Straight out the gate you was looking for a new tool. But we both know that's way before you left fool. And we both know there's no escape from real truth. Damn sure know that you're going to regret too. And you wanna know why?
Cause you just took a real thing and turned it to a fake thing. Hope you enjoyed escaping. Point your finger hating. Cause you just took a real thing and treated me like nothing. Blindsided me, you cold bitch, and I didn't see it coming. Cause you just took the real thing, made it be the wrong thing. And now you're just escaping where you helped in creating. Cause you just took the real thing and fucked it into nothing. And bitch, all you're neglecting turn me to who you're hating. Cause you fucked up the real thing.
Real life, real love we saw. Real work, real foundation, at least that's what I thought. All your bullshit I bought, all your bullshit I ate. Instead of supporting me, you would just add on to my fucking plate. And yeah, you're right, I didn't hear, there's a lot I didn't see. But let's be real, when the last time you ever fucking listened to me? Ever fucking gave an inch, you ever really took the six? Just to show you cared that I broke my back for you, you fucking bitch. Now I bet you're showing it. Honeymoon phase is great, ain't it? But what's gonna happen in a year or two when he ain't me in the real life hits and all this clips and you finally see me in a ship really happy with a girl who just loves me for me, with a girl who can't keep her hands off me, with a girl who knows what the word love means, someone who truly is my team, someone who doesn't fail just because our life isn't yet a perfect scene. Cause I know I'll attain my dreams and I really hope it cuts you deep and karma sends this pain around.
Cause you just took the real thing and turned it to a fake thing. Hope you enjoyed escaping, pointing your finger hating. Cause you just took the real thing and treated me like nothing. Blindsided me, you cold bitch, and I didn't see it coming. Cause you just took the real thing, made it be the wrong thing. And now you're just escaping where you helped in creating. Cause you just took the real thing and fucked it into nothing. And bitch, all you're neglecting turn me to who you're hating. Cause you fucked up the real thing. Cause you fucked up the real thing. Cause you fucked up the real thing.
Yeah, so also, I just want to make clear about that song because, as you can hear, I went pretty hard on my ex. I do want to just point out that my ex is a very good mother to my daughter. except for the fact that right now, for some reason, she doesn't think I'm a good father, which I don't get because like we raised my daughter together and stuff until the point where she moved out. But that's the problem is like since she's moved out, she's like flipped this whole thing where like she's selectively remembering when we were together and like making me out to be some kind of monster that I wasn't or something. And like I'm freaking out because I can't be a dad to my daughter right now, and I need to be a dad to my daughter right now. Like, and it's hopefully something that's working itself out soon. But if it wasn't for that, I probably never would have made this song. The anger about my daughter drove me to say a lot of it, to go off the way I did. You know what I mean? So I'm just putting that out there. Um, because like I would like that's why I don't bring up anything about her as a parent in the song, and it was strictly about what went on between me and her because she's a great parent, and I would never knock her on that. I just sometimes don't get how her brain works and stuff, but whatever. It's neither here nor there at this point, except for the fact that I need to get my daughter into my life, like because it's really been messing me up emotionally and making it hard for me to focus on this stuff. And it's like a lot of times I go into depression holes about it and stuff like that, and it sucks. So trying to resolve it all now, but anyway, getting into the next song. The next song is called Kids, and this is another song about my hood, basically. But this is, like I said, this is my boy Resonant made the beat. It's really bouncy, fun, dancey. It's emotional at the same time, and it's hood, but it's like happy, like Fresh Prince summertime kind of vibe. Even though I talk some grimy shit about, you know what I mean? Like I even say at one point in the song, they just are normal every day. They should have had the cameras rolling, you know what I mean? Because the shit was like a movie, indie, gritty, crazy story. Then we'd survive till the next day and get fucked up in the morning. Like I'm talking about how crazy the hood was, but I'm talking about it in a fun, the way we saw it when we were young way. You know what I mean? Like a fun, typical day in the hood kind of thing type, you know what I mean? And that's why it's like bouncy and it's a danceable song. And like shout out to my boy Resonant Entertainment on the beat, because he's fucking amazing. And if anybody that's watching this raps and is looking for a good producer and has a little money to shell out for a good producer, should look up his YouTube channel, because the dude has fire for days. I'm telling you. I mean, I started going through his catalog that he sent, and it was like, this was the third beat in the list of like 100. And as soon as I heard it, this whole song popped into my head. Like this was like this, getting the beat from him, wiring him the money, and me recording the song all happened in a matter of like 6 hours, because it was like instant, like, yes, this is this, you know what I mean? And even when I sent it back to him, he was like, damn, man, like the song's got a vibe, like it, like it really fits perfect with the beat and everything. And that's one of my favorite songs on the album. And the only reason I played it so late towards the end of the album is because, like I said, I kind of tried to do it chronologically as they came out. And this song I just did a couple months ago. That's also why when you go on my YouTube channel, this song's in my videos, but all the other songs aren't. All the other songs, you have to go to my homepage or the playlist to find them. They don't show up in my videos, like your video, you know what I mean? Because they're all through my distributor. But with the Snyder Cut song and Kids, I did them recently and had taken control of my YouTube channel from it just being a topic channel that my distributor created. And that's when I started SNYDER Ave, and those two songs I put out. Well, the Snyder Cut song I just put on YouTube myself, and that's why it's in my videos, and all the other songs aren't. But Kids, I did both. Kids is released through my distributor, and I posted the video. So that's why that's in the videos tab, and it's on the homepage, because the ones from my distributor, DistroKid, and the other ones. So that's like my page is like me controlling the page, and the topic page from my distributor got mixed together. And I took control of it and put the SNYDER Ave show and all the video stuff I've been doing on the same channel. But if you want to find the albums and the songs, you either got to go to playlists, and I have the albums broken down in the playlist, or you got to go to the home tab. And that's where all the, because for some reason, DistroKid, it doesn't go into my videos like the ones I uploaded myself. You know what I mean? Just to explain that to everyone. But yeah, this is a fun song, man. It's definitely like, if I was going to have a radio track on the album, this would probably be it. I'd probably do a radio edit of this and stuff, and like I said, the beat's crazy. So enjoy.
Mr. Resident, don't press that button.
the day when we was all just kids. Remember back in the day. Remember back in the day. Remember back in the day when we was all just kids. Remember back in the day when we was all just kids, acting stupid on the corner, raising hell where we live. That was Philly, was the name of the streets where I was raised. Didn't know it was the hood, thought the world was all the same. Thought my block was half the city, thought the trash went in the drain. Thought the plug was like a water park and the way we lived was plain. So insane, looking back when I see the steps where we all sat. When I think of all the crazy shit I miss, it wouldn't take it back. Before all of the dope, before all of the crack, before anyone got shot or deed or too deep in the trap. When we was all alive, blowing Phillies in the sky, drinking 40s on the block, nothing but booty on my mind. 13 and never dry, stay sipping on St. Ives, sneaking out like every night. My homies looking for a fight, but to us it was all good fun. It was just the way it is. Cops roll up, we would run. They didn't treat us like kids. They was trying to give us biz, we was trying to keep it lit. Hooky school and house party when our parents went to work and shit. Remember back in the day when we was all just kids. Remember back in the day. Remember back in the day. Remember back in the day when we was all just kids. Remember back in the day when we was all just kids, acting stupid on the corner, raising hell where we live. Then I got a little older, bigger chip up on my shoulder, bigger drugs up in my system, heart growing a little colder. Cops was raising up some soldiers, wouldn't believe me if I told you. Just a normal everyday, they should have had the cameras rolling. Cause the shit was like a movie, indie, gritty, crazy story. Then we survive till the next day and get fucked up in the morning. Strap my Timbs and grab a 40, roll a blunt to smoke with shorty. Seems so fun sometimes, I wish I could go back like Rick and Morty. Cause to us it wasn't nothing, someone always into something. Joy riding in the stoley with some ill like fucking bumping. Homies eat under the seat in case some out of town is frontin'. And we all had metal belts to give the enemy a lumping. 50 deep out on the corner having fun, no need for burners. Getting drunk out of our mind and do a bump and start all over. Like I told you, it was just life and I would never take it back. Cause my hood spit out the man that just set fire to this track. Remember back in the day when we was all just kids. Remember back in the day. Remember back in the day. Remember back in the day when we was all just kids. Remember back in the day when we was all just kids, acting stupid on the corner, raising hell where we live. Remember back in the days when we was all just kids, all just kids. Good old days. Remember back in the days when we was all just kids, we was all just kids. Remember back in the days when we was all just kids. All just kids. All just kids. All just kids.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Like how that song's a vibe, man. I love that song. It's like the way his beat and my shit went together that day when we did that, man. It was, and like even like that, like I said, he's like a real deal producer. This dude, you know, even more than me on the hip hop tip. Like, because I do pop stuff, commercial background music shit. Like I do all kinds of shit, not just hip hop. Hip hop's just what I do as an artist, but I could let you hear pop beats I've made for singers and stuff for days. But like, and I've even done like with the Spike Dude and Sid doing Slipknot. I've done that with metal groups in the past, like been like the DJ beat guy. Like I've done all kinds of different musical spectrums besides my own. I even have a synthwave album I want to do after Alternate Earth's done, where I'm going to use the moniker the Blue Pill, like as in like Matrix the Blue Pill, you know what I mean? Because it's going to be a synthwave album, like an 80s synthwave album. And I'm probably going to get guest singers, like females, to sing on it, or one singer if I can find a good one that wants to collab on it. But and make the instrumentals like with the 80s stuff, you know what I mean? Like similar to the Group Gunship. If anybody has, like, look up the Group Gunship if you want to know what I'm talking about when I say synthwave. That's where my head's at with it. But yeah, but that song, you know, it has that vibe that like it's like it makes me feel good. And at the same time, it's like it makes me think about friends that I've lost, but like the good times with them back in the day. Like I say, like when we were all together, you know, before drugs and guns and everything else fucked everybody up, you know what I mean? And before half of them were dead, and like when we were kids back in the day, when when we were all just kids running around the fucking corners acting like nuts and having fun, you know what I mean? Even though that was also the point, was that like some of those situations that we would get into would be so crazy that like it'd be like life threatening to a normal person, you know what I mean? But to us, it was just another day, you know what I mean? Like, and that was kind of the point of the song, but to do it in like a happy, the hood on a good day kind of vibe, you know what I mean? And then the last song is My Soul, which is just basically like the cover that I made for the single. It's actually an old picture of me from the early 2000s, because the whole point of the song was kind of me making the point that like it was like my I'm back song, it was like Ill Life is back and I'm never going to let go of it again because it's part of who I am. It's my soul is Ill Life, you know what I mean? And that's the whole point of it basically. So another one of my beats too. And also like for all the nerds and gamers out there, I use some gaming sounds on this beat, like some, I think like Castlevania and Pac-Man. Like I made them with a chip synth, but they sound similar to like I think Super Mario and maybe Castlevania, I think, or maybe Pac-Man. I forget the games that the sounds reminded me of, but it's pretty cool the way it sounds on the beat and stuff. So let's check it out. But this is the last track, and then we'll wrap up for a little bit, and then I'm going to shut it down after that because I got to get up for work tomorrow. But so yeah, this is My Soul. This is the last song for now. There's 2 more songs still getting done for the album that are in the works, but as of right now, this is where the album stops. So.
And I'm back, I'm about to hit you with some tracks that's addictive like crack. I got sidetracked and too consecutive, figure it out. But I know that this music's what my life's all about. And I ain't going nowhere, so get used to the flow. Cause I've been doing this too long for me to ever let go. And I'ma keep on rhyming till I'm wrinkled and old. Cause life is who I am deep inside of my soul. Feel like I'm reborn, rebrand, new beats, pimp hand, new hair, new fans. Still ills, but a new man with a new plan to isolate. Set up tracks and detonate. Hit the ground running out the gate. Never slow down till I reach my fate. To be a great beater one. Wasting time forever done. Be on my grind, the prodigal son. Ready to fire like a gun. Shit is fun, I must admit. 24/7 is work legit, but work ain't really work if you're just doing what you love, is it? My fire spit always kept it real since day one. And that's why I could be feeling every song I ever done. But now I gotta take it wide. Spread the skill around the globe. Connect to every listener. Stay true to myself, but crash the mode. Explode all over these tracks. Cause I'm done, I up the stacks, make fire beats, building these racks, and somehow still keep spitting facts and never crack. So don't try to take my kindness for bitches, cause on the real, I'm still a hook cat that'll leave you in stitch. How you doing, planet Earth? Yo, it's Hills and I'm back. I'm about to hit you with some tracks that's addictive like crack. I got sidetracked and took a sec to figure it out. But I know that this music's what my life's all about. And I ain't going nowhere, so get used to the flow. Cause I've been doing this too long for me to ever let go. And I'ma keep on rhyming till I'm wrinkled and old. Cause Ill Life is who I am deep inside of my soul. In my soul, in my soul, in my soul, in my soul, deep in my soul, in my soul, in my soul. Ill Life is who I am deep inside of my soul. Everybody come to the show, I just got out the studio. Laid a couple fire tracks, make sure that the fans all know. Ready to grab this microphone, ready to rock this brand new flow. Ready to make the world look up and get their face up out they phone. I'm in the zone all over again like it was back in 2010. But this around I'm trying to sound way better than I was back then. Gotta block the hate, get it straight, this is what I'm born to do. And God to give me these gifts just to be broken, keep my collar blue. So I ain't planning on stopping till I got the whole world rocking. And I get the recognition that I always should have gotten. So I'm plotting and I'm plotting to keep writing rhymes, dropping and exhibit all the mad skills that be inside me like oxen. Gotta spit it out, elevate, get the bag, motivate, ignore the hate and non-believers. I won't give shit, man. I can't wait to see they face when they don't get a fucking dime, yo.
Yeah, remember I was daydreaming, now please don't touch my land. Happy doing planet Earth, yo, it's Hills and I'm back. I'm about to hit you with some tracks that's addictive like crack. I got sidetracked and took a sec to figure it out, but I know that this music's what my life's all about. And I ain't going nowhere, so get used to the flow, cause I've been doing this too long for me to ever let go. And I'ma keep on rhyming till I'm wrinkled and old, cause ill life is who I am deep inside of my soul. In my soul, yeah. In my soul, yeah. In my soul, yeah. In my soul, yeah. Deep in my soul, yeah. In my soul, yeah. In my soul, ill life is who I am deep inside of my soul. Ill life is who I am deep inside of my soul. Ill life is who I am deep inside of my soul.
And there you have it. So that is Thus Far Alternate Earth, which will probably, by the time I'm done it at this point, be coming out in 2022 as a complete album. But all those singles and the whole album that we did the other night, Urban Ivory, are all on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, whatever, basically everywhere. You can look me up, find me, find the albums, find the songs. But once they are completed as an album, and once I have these other two songs done, they will sound a little bit better too, because basically, like, in the last year or two while I was making the album, I've saved up money for different select plugins and stuff that I use, and I've spared no expense on mastering. Basically, like, I put out a lot of money. I got some expensive mastering shit that is gonna make it really, really fucking have a final polish on it. And I'm gonna go through the whole album and master it all. You know what I mean? Like, right now, I haven't ran through some mastering plugins just for the loudness of it. You know what I mean? But it's gonna be fine tuned, and the sound quality is gonna be like, you know, as if you were listening to Eminem or anything else, like really, really polished. And then what'll happen is all the songs, because it'll be the same, but like when I put the album out and put the album together, I'm able to use the same like barcodes basically from the ones that already exist on YouTube and Spotify and everything. And I'll change them to the new album versions, change the mixes, and change it to the album cover once it's a complete album. And then it'll upload and actually replace the ones that are on there now. You know what I mean? And Integrity. Thank you, Integrity. That's what's up, man. And that's why, like I said, that's why I do a lot of different styles, because, you know, that could be your favorites and then somebody else could like a different three, and you know what I mean? So I always try to be versatile with tackling the different styles going on at the time, but in my own way, kind of, you know what I mean? And right now, hip hop's all over the place. Hip hop's really diverse right now, to where, you know, and I always throw my own original twist. I never try to copy anyone, but I also don't deny things that have inspired me. You know what I mean? Like, and with this album, a lot of different shit has inspired me, both on the beats and the lyrics and everything. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but yeah, as soon as those other two songs are done, man, the album will be put together and mastered and will be out. And then you'll actually be able to buy the complete album on iTunes too, if you chose to. Like, right now, you can buy the older one, Urban Ivory, as a complete album. Like, I've actually sold quite a few of them on iTunes, actually, to like people I grew up with and stuff like that so far. But yeah. So anyway, before I closed out the show, I wanted to talk about a couple of normal nerd topics real quick, just to get it out of my system. And believe me, next week we will be right back to the regular format. I'm gonna have a fat ass panel on here. I'm gonna reach out to the usuals, you know what I mean? Hopefully get Enosh a couple, because it's gonna be like coming off of Fandom. And I'm sure we're going to have, whether it's going to be good or bad, I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about fucking DC fandom next week. So I'm planning to be right back to the regular Snyder Ave format and have a good panel on, and I'll be chopping it up about it and everything, you know. This was just, I just wanted to do these two, like that's why I did it like episode 8 and 8.5, because the two listen parties, you know, I really wanted to do it just to get who I am out to everybody on the table, you know, because it's like the Snyder Ave show. It's like I'm kind of coming out to an audience that necessarily didn't even know I was a musician other than the Snyder Cut song, you know what I mean? Because it was like my geek community. And then, you know, it started to occur to me that a lot of the people that I'm friends with and that follow me and stuff like that are also fans of music, you know what I mean? So I figured, since the show was picking up some momentum and getting views and stuff, that I should, you know what I mean, do this just to put it out there, so that if anybody wanted to find the music also, you know, these two episodes will always be there now in the catalog. And maybe people will notice it and be like, oh, let me go find the songs and actually listen to them, you know what I mean? And then the songs will get played and I'll get more advertisements. And because like right now I actually can make money off YouTube. I mean, it's not much. It equates to like $5 to $15 a month sometimes usually like 7, something like that, in ads that play on the songs, not my videos. I don't get anything from the streams or anything yet, because I haven't you know, hit 1,000 subs and monetized and all. But on my songs, on the distributor side, believe it or not, YouTube ads pays more than anything else. Like the money I get off of ads on YouTube pays me more than like streams on Spotify or anything like that, honestly, because usually streams you're getting like 0.0000015 of a cent each time one plays or something, you know. So you really got to get up into like the 100,000s, millions to start making money that way with the songs. But the ads on YouTube, you know, so if you're ever going to listen to one of my songs and an ad plays, let it play for like 10 seconds. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing where I haven't even checked, because I know it's not that much money, you know what I mean? I just kind of let it accumulate in there and take it out when it gets up to like 50 or something like that, you know? But yeah, the nerd things I just wanted to talk about real quick. Venom is one of them, the post-credit scene. Okay, because I just wanted to put my opinion out there about it, you know? So spoiler alert, if anybody hasn't seen Venom, I'm about to talk about the post-credit scene real quick. Here's my thing, right? Like, I'm one of the people that wants Andrew Garfield back. Like me, Caleb, Austin, Dawson. I know a bunch of other people. Like, I love Andrew Garfield. To me, Andrew Garfield's the Spider-Man I grew up with in the comics. And I was really hoping the way that Sony has stayed detached from the MCU kind of with Venom and everything, that like we were going to get him back. Like I felt like when Kevin Feige got Sony to extend the deal, right? Because really the deal was supposed to end at No Way Home. Like they were supposed to take Spider-Man back, but somehow Feige convinced them not to, and convinced them to keep going with the movies, right? So I think that deal was the multiverse. I think that's why it's happening, kind of. Well, the Spider-Verse, I should say, not the multiverse as a whole. But I kind of feel like maybe it's going to be set up that like when this is all said and done, Tom Holland stays in the MCU and Sony gets to still have Garfield on their side. You know what I mean? And the two Spider-Verse worlds where it will exist at once and maybe sometimes cross over in the future for big events and stuff. And Garfield will be on the Venom side. Now, when the post-credit scene happens, like I think it's kind of obvious to me. It seemed like that's probably the moment when the Doctor Strange shit happens in the No Way Home trailer, and that's why you see Eddie get zapped to like the other hotel room, like his surroundings change, and he's like gets zapped to another Earth, and then J. Jonah Jameson from the end of No Way Home basically is on the news talking about Spider-Man being wanted, like Tom Holland and all. Now, like at first I was like, oh shit, it's Tom Holland, you know what I mean? But then I thought about it, and I actually think for us Andrew Garfield fans, that's a good sign, because if you remember, like, wasn't the post-credit scene in the first one, like Michael Keaton popped up, so everybody was thinking that it was already attached to the MCU, you know what I mean? But maybe it's going to be a case of like Michael Keaton just exists on both, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, if he had to get sucked to that Earth, then he wasn't there in the first place. And maybe that means he was on Andrew Garfield's Earth in the first place, and the Sonyverse was staying a thing, but Sony just couldn't really come out and say it until after the contract with the MCU was up, or they worked it out or whatever. You know what I mean? This could all be wishful thinking, but I'm just saying, I kind of think the fact that he had to get pulled to the MCU Earth is an obvious sign that he wasn't there in the first place. You know what I mean? And let's not forget that when Kevin Feige first worked this deal out in the first place, he wanted Andrew Garfield, and Sony said no. Sony made him recast. So maybe this has always been going on behind the scenes the whole time, and Andrew Garfield was always going to come back. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. God, I want Amazing Spider-Man 3. And God, I want Venom to be part of that universe. And I want that all to continue, you know. But I just wanted to say my piece about that. And there was something else I wanted to bring up too. Well, I already brought it up earlier in the stream, but just to let everybody know, yeah, integrity. You're on my side too. Good, man. Whatchamacallit? Oh, the show, not a comic book show, but I can't rave about this show enough. On Hulu, the Wu-Tang and American Saga show. I talked about it earlier in the stream. I'm telling you, anybody that knew the story of Wu-Tang or anything, even if you're not a hip-hop fan, if you're just musically inclined, whatever, the show is so real and so amazing. And it's not over dramatized. Like, it's not a story about kids that are gangsters. It's a story about kids in the hood trying to escape the hood with music. You know what I mean? And like I said, like they were this group of like all these individual solo rappers that the RZA was making the beats and brought them all together and got them all to commit. A lot of them didn't like each other. Two of them were trying to shoot each other in the show at one time before they joined the group and became friends. And it shows this whole story of how the Wu-Tang Clan came together. And Old Dirty Bastard's son even plays him and looks just and sounds just like him and stuff. And Dave East, the rapper Dave East, he plays Method Man. There's just tons of incredible talent in the show. And the show is so real and so amazing and shows the artistic process. Like, I relate to the show so much and I fucking love it, man. Like, it's my favorite show on TV right now. And it's worth it for anybody that would be into it to check out. Believe me, it's fucking great. It's incredible. Like, and seeing it all acted out as a drama show by actors instead of like a documentary. There's a good documentary about it too called Of Mikes and Men, I think it's called, on Showtime. But this is like a drama TV show with actors playing the young them and telling the whole story of how they made it. You know what I mean? It starts out with them poor, living in the projects, to where, you know, right now I'm in the middle of the second season and they're just getting to the point where they're about to blow up. Radio stations started to play their shit, stuff like that. And they're like in an apartment with a homemade built mic room and shit, you know, like that they're like barely paying the rent and shit. Like, it's great. It's so real. It's fucking awesome. So I kind of wanted to plug that just out of my own love for it and stuff. So, but yeah, thank you guys all for coming. And, and another thing I wanted to talk about too, like I was saying earlier, I just noticed today, right before I like came on to start uploading the songs and stuff today, that I got 323 fucking subscribers all of a sudden. Like, when I used to have 79. So obviously, and also, I don't know if it has anything with the tweet I did the other day. I feel like something's happening with the SNYDERverse. Like, I've never ever had like a Restore the SNYDERverse tweet or anything that ever hit the algorithm with any kind of steam on Twitter. And all of a sudden, I did this tweet the other day. I don't know if anybody's seen it on Twitter, but it was a picture of like all the villains Zach had done that I made into a collage, and said, like, you know, something along the lines of like, we got to give credit Zach credit as much as we all love the heroes. Man, I got to give him credit on the villains, basically, because he did them all amazing and shit. You know what I mean? And I think I hashtag Restore the SNYDERverse and I hashtag SNYDERverse at some point in the tweet. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it like hit the algorithm like fire. Like, it has like 460 likes and 150 retweets. And like, I've never had a tweet like hit the algorithm like that, like get noticed like that. So I don't know if that's where some of these subscribers have come from, because they further checked out my Twitter, or if it's just like because the fan base is starting to find me through Enosh and stuff like that, going back and watching all the streams that we did together. So I don't really know what it is, but either way, I fucking love all you guys, and I'm so thankful for every single one of you that subscribe. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to keep entertaining you and hopefully making that number go up more, because, like, man, it was tough for a while. I was stuck below 100 for a while there, trying to get everything off the ground, you know, and it just felt great to like open up YouTube today and see that. It was like, man, it was a blessing. It really was. So thank you guys again. And yeah, and like I said, I'm about to get out of here, but like I said, next week I'll be on DC Fandom, man. It would be regular Snyder Ave, 10:35 Sunday night. Going to get a good panel together, and we will definitely, whether it's going to be good or bad, whether there's going to be a haircut announcement, whatever. Honestly, I don't think nothing we want is getting announced. I think David Ayer still has a relationship with Warner Brothers, and I'm not blaming him for any of this, but I think some kind of deal probably did happen that the haircut's happening behind the scenes. And like they're asking him, like they're like, now that the haircut is happening, like put some tweets out, like do some, you know what I mean? But they're not planning on announcing it at DC Fandom. I just think, you know, they're trying to get us, the Snyderverse fans, on board with DC Fandom so that we don't go nuts, tweet and restore the Snyderverse all day instead, is what I think is happening. And I think we're really, you know, other than like Batman and the games and stuff like that, I think we're going to be highly disappointed by DC Fandom. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully the haircut gets announced or some crazy shit happens because, you know, as everyone's noticed, I'm sure all of a sudden Warner and the other countries is really supporting the Snyderverse a lot all of a sudden. Yeah, I agree. Integrity, definitely. I think Zaslav's already been making moves behind the scenes. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot more. It's already happening than we even know, honestly. But I'm not Mikey Sutton, so I'm not saying anything definite one way or the other. You know, I'm just saying my opinion with what we've been seeing on Twitter and stuff like that is like Truth always says, the winds of change are fucking coming, man. And it's going to happen. So yeah, so next week there's definitely going to be a panel on, you know, and it's not going to be a music stream. It's going to be back to regular Snyder Ave, and we're going to be talking about Warner Brothers, I'm sure, whether it be good or bad or what. I'm going to be shitting all over Toby Emmerich probably by the end of the day. And like, you know, we're going to be right back in the mix of it. You know what I mean? So I hope to see you guys all here next week for back to the regular format of Snyder Ave and everything. With the Batman in March now isn't necessarily the best time for an announcement. And I don't really care, honestly. I mean, I wasn't too worried about DC Fandom in the first place because I feel like, in my opinion, this DC Fandom is probably going to be a remnant of the old regime, whereas everything's about to change when Discovery does come in. So I really don't give a fuck about it. You know what I mean? I'm going to watch the highlights of the things I want to see, but I'm not sitting here like last year. I'm watching the whole fucking thing live. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't care that much, honestly. So, but we'll be talking about it. That's for sure. Because I'm sure it's going to be big news by the end of Sunday night, you know, and I'm always the last one to go at the end of, well, Enosh usually goes again after me because he streams like a motherfucking psycho all the time. But, you know, for the most part, a lot of times, like, I'm the last person to talk about stuff at the end of the week. But luckily, this is a situation where, like, it happens the day before my show. So I might get first crack at bitching about some stuff. You know what I mean? So hope to see you guys then. And, you know, thank you guys all for coming out tonight. And thank you for coming out, you know, last week for the other half of the listen party. And I really appreciate all the love for the music and everything. And again, thank you for all the subs, you guys. And like I said, I'll announce it next week, but I'm going to put together some giveaway for when we hit 500 or whatever. And if for some reason 500 creeps past before next week, we'll make it a G, you know what I mean? Something like that. But I'm just so thankful that I got so many subs so fast, man. It was beautiful. So, but yeah, so thanks again, everybody. Thanks to Integrity, Truth, Paul Smith, everybody that popped up tonight. Thank you guys all so much. I love all you motherfuckers. And I got so many videos uploaded in here now. I can't find my outro. There we go. And I will see you guys next week, man. Love you guys. Peace.
Inspired us fans so much. Better than a weekend past that day, we had the hashtag up. Release the Snyder Cut, and we would not give up till we got to see the vision Warner Brothers promised us. And then we trended up, despite all the naysay, and made them notice that we were never gonna go away. Kept fighting every day, and I guess that was the key. Cause now we're really gonna see Zack Snyder's Justice League. Release the Snyder Cut, release the Snyder Cut. It was the Justice League, and you douchebags fucked it up. Release the Snyder Cut, release the Snyder Cut. Why did you chop it up and make it fucking suck? Now we're getting Zack JL, now we're getting Zack JL, and all you naysayers can finally go to hell.